Hey you guys, I'm gonna do a video because my internet is creeping out again. Might be because I got both phones on doing, which they're always on, but I mean, I was watching a video and then I got sidetracked and I was watching another video and another one and then I go to do a post or something and maybe that made it screwy, but it was messing up my edits and but I feel like this is important. And here, baby, right here, baby. I think this is an important issue, and I want to be clear because I hope I'm pretty clear in my post, but I made some adjustments because sometimes when you say them or it or she or he, I'll sometimes reread it and I'm like, well, that isn't so clear. I need to say I'm talking about a Muslim, or I'm talking about a murderer, or I'm talking about, So anyway, this thing I was thinking about lately is all this creepy liberalism, socialism, Marxism, Islamism, all this conglomeration of evil packing together, making a pact. And I was thinking, maybe they're just against Israel genociding, which is false, okay? Maybe it's because Israel does business with America and the rest of the free world. And yet these other countries where Islam and Muslims are genociding Christians, and of course any Jews that would live in those countries too. I posted the list from Christianity Today of all 50 of these countries that are suffering genocide at the hands of Muslims. And I know everybody has been saying this for months, like when the Iranians, and then before that it was, other countries that suffer. Everybody was saying, oh, but they're quiet. The protesters are quiet over the Iranians, but I couldn't understand. That didn't click with me. I kind of knew what they were talking about, but it didn't really, my brain can't always I'm an airhead. So some of the simplest things I don't comprehend, but then sometimes I do. But then when I I heard another video and maybe they worded it a different way and they didn't say it that way. And then they said something some different way. And I realized, I'm like, yeah. So I looked up how many countries, and we've been talking about this too anyway, rarely, but we've all mentioned it, how there's genocide going on with the Christians in all these other countries and they don't care about them. See, again, it didn't click with me. So, but however somebody else worded it, wherever I heard it, it started clicking with me, and I am like, yeah, wow. So I looked up, I Googled, I wanted to know all the countries that are suffering genocide, real, true genocide, at the hands of Muslims, Muslim murderers. I don't care if they're Islam, Muslim, whatever. Look at what they're doing to the Jews, which I don't even understand this either. That they want to do something like twist it with, we're against Zionism, not Jews. That's what I don't understand that either, because they're one and the same to me. Zion is said over and over and over and over and over in the Bible. It's the same thing. But they're trying to condone their anti-Semitism. But I don't understand how they're trying to be that way. I mean, I don't understand how they're how they're dissecting it to be separate. Okay, so when I say Muslim, I do mean Islam. And Islam is Muslim, and Muslim is Islam. It's the same shit, garbage, demon shit. All right? So if the good Muslims want to get offended, I don't care. I don't. Because in the end, If you're Shiite or Sunni or whatever wants to hate or kill a Muslim, a Jew, I don't like you. I know that EAU already likes Jews and they're Muslim and they even know in the Bible, their Quran says that the Jews, that's Zion and that's their land and that's Israel. And so, okay, I'm not talking about those Muslims. I'm talking about murderous Muslims, the Muslim ideology, Islam, whatever the hell you are. So these 50 countries, Muslims are genociding Christians. And if there happen to be any Jews in there, I'm sure they're doing that to them too. But see, all these foreign government officials that the Western world has in office that are not from the Western world, they're from the Islam world, from genocide, where they genocide Christians and Jews. They're not westernized. They're not our moral equivalent of the Western world or Israel. Okay? They don't believe in that stuff. They're murderous Muslims and Islamists, whatever. So the 50 countries are genociding Christians, yet the Western world, foreign political people in government, in our Western governments, it's worldwide now, all free Western countries have Muslim shit in them, in their government, okay? So those foreign Muslim government officials in the Western countries in America who aren't from the Western world in America, they're against us Americans. They're against their Western countries. They're calling their Western countries, who are Israel, Christians and Israelis are the same, different, but we're cut from the same cloth. We have fallen from the same apple tree. Okay? We're legit brothers and sisters, okay? Not these Abraham Ishmael shits. All right? So, even the Bible says, I gave you the scripture, it says, your mother, Sarah. Okay? Ishmael isn't from Sarah. Anyway, so what's strange, what I had a light bulb moment is all these foreign government officials infiltrating over here into our Western governments are always pointing the finger at Israel about genocide when they come from the countries that are the genocidal countries and they're Muslims, yet they don't even talk about how they're outraged about their own countries. Who are Muslims doing it? See, I know everybody has connected the dots that, oh, well, they don't protest about the Iranians who are being imprisoned wrongly and killed. They don't protest about the other 50 countries who are being massacred by Islam. I mean, maybe they're saying the same thing as what I'm saying now, but I don't know, maybe not. I think I'm taking it a step further, and I'm just wanting to show you the demonic manipulation of it, because the Western mind isn't catching it. We're catching that other part, but why have we let it go on so long, as in decades, slowly, manifesting? When we knew genocide by Muslims was going on in all those other countries, and they can't say that we're only picking on Israel because Israel gets the most money and Israel is our closest ally. No, we're allies with all of those other states, countries, a lot of them, a lot of those 50 other countries that are being genocided right now by Muslims. We do business with them too. But isn't it weird how they are governed? Like, who are they that they're talking about lately? The sickos from Somalia and that wide, fat lady from some other Islam country. And they're such loudmouths. And there is Muslims, and they're against genocide, yet their own countries are genociding Christians. America has never genocided anybody. Western countries have never performed genocide. Israel is just like us because they're a free country and they're godly, they're of God, and their Quran knows it. All of the Western and Israel, we're the only ones. We're the only ones that don't do genocide, yet they're in our countries accusing us of genocide. Now, Israel won't put up with that shit. And some of the Muslim countries won't either, like EAU and Saudi Arabia maybe. But I'm just saying, these other countries, if they want to fix something, go over and fix your own fucked up country. We're not genociding here. Israel is not genociding over there. It's your own country that's doing it. And you come to our Western countries and you say you want to point the finger at Israel and not your own country. I mean, I don't know if it's coming out right or clear enough, but it's so, maybe it's just a different way of what they've all been saying all along by pointing the finger at, well, they don't care about the Iranians that are getting massacred. Maybe it's the same thing, but I don't really see it that way. I see it like this is just different. This is like a light bulb moment that they are so evil and we have been so blind. Like I brought up King Hezekiah. Maybe it's because of King Hezekiah, what he did. Like he did what he did, and then the prophet came back and said, well, because you did that, your generation after you is going to get it. They're going to get the punishment. And you know what he said? He said, oh, well, at least it's not me. So if America has been, and these Western countries are worse than we are, have been allowing this, being blind, whether we were blind or whoremongers, money mongers, whether we were too self-absorbed, whatever. I don't know what it would be. But if it's none of those, then it could be God blinded us from catching it too soon because he wanted it to manifest, because it is a curse that we're going to have to pay for that our earlier forefathers did. It's like King Hezekiah, it happened to him. And so whatever our forefathers of however many generations ago, like 30, 40, 50 years ago, whenever they started doing this, I don't know when, whatever president that was, whatever country leaders they were, if maybe they did something bad like King Hezekiah did, and God is basically saying, well, because I gave you 15 more years to live, Hezekiah, and then you do this. Then you do this. You can go read it in 2 Kings 20. And so the prophet had to come back to him and say, well, because you did this, the generation after you is going to pay for it. They're going to get carried away to Babylon. Well, if this is the case, because how did this go on so long that we were so blind? So blind to have foreign Muslim ass pieces of shit to rise up in our government, to get them elected from their rhetoric, half-truths, twisted, plus some lies thrown in that brainwash the people. How did we let that go on till now it's so morphed into a monster that is a giant, that literally a Goliath that might be impossible to kill because of all the minds they've poisoned, because it's been in there so long in here and morphed. So it's just so ironic how none of the Western countries that are pointing the finger at Israel have ever done genocide, much less Israel, the original humanitarians. And yet they're the Muslims They are the Muslims that genocide Jews and Christians all over the world, and they know it. Yet they keep pointing the finger at us and Israel. Free Palestine, free Palestine from breathing air, okay? Free, I mean, that's what I say. I say, yeah, free Palestine of life. They are Ishmael. They're so rooted in, it is a God thing. I mean, today on the news with maybe boots on the ground, I mean, they give little snippets of news going in little obscure places that we don't know about right now. So, I mean, whatever he was saying about wherever it was, I'm like, damn, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They are embedded everywhere. And now the Western countries are so brainwashed and blind into believing they're okay. Oh, those poor Muslims, those poor Islamist murderers, genociding everybody. Oh, those poor things. And those foreign government officials in our country and in the Western countries, like Eon Mohar, whatever the hell fucking demonic name she has, and the other ugly shit with her, they are Muslims that do genocide. Their countries do the genocide. Their countries do the genocide. We don't. Why are they deflecting against their own country? Yet they don't even support their own country, where the Muslims are killing, genociding the Christians. They're not over there saying, well, America has ties with so-and-so Somalia and whatever. Shouldn't we be sticking up for, yeah, like y'all say, we should be sticking up for those Christians over there getting genocided by the Muslims because we're Muslims. And why would we do that? No, we're going to come to America and say, you Americans are, it's your fault. You're in bed with Israel. They genocide. Don't look at me. I'm a Muslim, and my Muslims over there in my country are genociding Christians. But don't look at me. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one genociding. You're the one genociding. You need to stick up for us Muslims who are genociding. Yeah, we're genociding, and we are so sad and pathetic. And you need to support us and love us. Like I've said before, they're poisoning the minds that they're going to slaughter, which y'all have said that too, but they're getting the ones they're going to murder to support them. And they don't even know it. They're so stupid because they're suggestible, you know. They're just suggestible because we were already primed in the colleges, being money whoremongers, taking the money so that these professors can teach this shit and get Bible out of the school. Probably all started with that. America listened to that atheist, immigrant, foreign illegal, and they gave her rights over our Bible in schools. They're like, yeah, well, it's offensive to her. Wow. That's mind-blowing. Real bad. So anyway, maybe I'm saying the same thing as everybody else has been saying, but I just didn't understand it. But now that I see it this way, I guess it needed to be explained a different way. And yeah, they are the murderers, genocidal murderers. And they're pointing the finger at everybody but the murderers in all the other countries. And they got that Cheshire grin. They got that demonic smirk because they know we're too stupid to see it all these years. Especially now that the beast has arisen. The rooted in beast that is a monster Goliath that we can't seem to kill, no matter how many stones we throw at it. David only needed one. Anyway, you should have watched that sermon with Alan Nolan. weeks ago on explaining all about these archers, these slingists like David. Those slings, you had to be so good, and the rock that you did, that would hit better than a bullet. They were so skilled, they would always send the slingers in first at a war. He gave the whole rundown. Sometimes you send the slingers in first, sometimes you send the this or that in first, and whatever. It was amazing. It was amazing. These people are highly skilled. That's why it's such so believable that rock killed him, because it's like a bullet. Those Jews really knew how to do slingshots, okay? And being a shepherd boy, he had to kill some wolves with some bullets, and that was his gun. They're just really good at it. But anyway, this is so out of control. And somehow somebody, fathers or forefather, whatever generation, like they did Madeline O'Hare, they let her take the Bible out. So, but it's like the murderer is telling the victim they're wrong, they're the murderer. It's a classic demonic, devilish, satanic, I can't say it enough. It's so disgusting. And it's probably a good thing God is shielding our eyes somewhat, because we would be so freaking grossed out if we could really understand how demonic this is. But yeah, I don't know if I've talked in circles or I've been saying this, or y'all have been saying the same thing as what I just realized, but in a different way. But yeah, they look at all the free world countries except their own. Well, why don't they go back to their country if it's so wonderful? And it's not like I'm saying that just to be rude and mean. If you don't like it, don't live here. I'm saying that legitimately. They will not go back because they know it's sorry suck ass, but their Quran tells them that they need to bring down the Western. They're too proud. They're heretics. They're wealthy and rich, yeah, but it's demonic wealth. It's demonic freedom. We need to tear it down because we're terrorists and murderers. And we don't need to fix our own countries. We don't need to go back to our own countries and manage and govern those. They're doing just fine killing all the Christians. We need to go to these other countries that are very stupid. The colleges have dumbed them down enough by now, and we're going to start, infiltrating and gaining power, and then we're going to start spewing our bile from the pit of hell. And it's working. I've been saying this crowd now, this belief, this agenda is perfect. This is exactly what they're going to be like in the trib. Because in the trib, that whore is going to be killing Christians. Do you think they're going to care? When the 2 witnesses are killed after 3.5 years, they're going to be celebrating and giving gifts. They would have done the same thing if, Elon had to fire a bunch of people. A lot of people did get fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. See? In the trib, it's going to be legal to kill the Christians, and they're going to love it because, the Bible is hate speech. So they are going to, it's going to be legal. And it would be legal now if we weren't here. They would love to kill us. And they would love to let it go against, like it's not against the law. They would probably pay people to do it, like an assassin, like the pay to slay. I mean, they already celebrate when good people, they loved it when Trump almost got killed. They loved it. This is exactly what the trib is going to be like, but instead then it will be legal. And no, I did say something one time in the video before last, but I can't always, say every mistake I make. But I was saying like the ones under the altar, they died as martyrs, like Stephen in the Bible, and some of these others, they died preaching the preaching the word of God. The trib saints, they weren't preaching the word of God. They just got beheaded. They're not the same thing. But reading, yeah, they kind of are, because they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And it is said a couple of times in there about, and I mean, think about, I didn't think about it, but think about it. When certain, maybe they're lost, they don't know Jesus, so they're left behind. In the trib, they see how kooky everything's gotten, and they're like, I want to be a Christian, so they get saved. They're going to have to be beheaded. Well, once somebody gets saved and they're now a believer in Jesus Christ, they usually want to talk about it. Well, it'll be illegal in the trib, so they'll be beheaded. So yeah, they did die. They weren't all, see, we get so saturated with the wrong stuff for so many years. Like so many years, we've been, focusing on, we're going to be running and hiding, and these preppers have to prep because they're going to be off grid and all this. That's what we have in our mind, is that the Christians are in hiding, right? But that's not going to be always the case. The Christians are going to be out, because then there's some that are left behind that know enough about the Bible, and they can lead some lost people to Christ. That's how some people are going to get saved. Because some Christians are going to be left behind. The Revelation says it. Revelation even says the ones that got all excited and wondered after the beast that had the deadly wound and then he came back to life, they all wondered because their names were not written in the book of life since the foundations of the world. It means there is predestination, I guess, because those people's names never were written in the book of life. So all these people running around us right now, if the rapture is soon or the tribulation is soon, when that beast becomes Satan himself, after 3.5 years, once the trib begins, the people we're looking at right now and encountering these evil, wicked agendas, their name, if they're in the trib, if they don't die immediately from the, things coming up, because there's going to be a lot of deaths that are non-Christians and Christians who aren't beheaded because they died some other way, right? Before they were caught to be beheaded, right? So anyway, the whatever I was saying, they're already mindseted here. I've been saying they're seared, they're reprobate. God has turned them over to Satan. And this is exactly, I'm rubbing my thumb on this, and it's, this is exactly what they're going to be like in the trib. They're going to love to kill the Christians. Their names are not written in the book of life. We are walking amongst people right now who will literally be in the trib and loving it all. Even when they get sores and scabs and all this from stuff, they're not going to put it together that it's from the, some are going to be dying from that. And this, I was saying in my comments, just because those people don't necessarily see them as demons, it could be anything. It could be a vaccine. It could be, I added a couple of more. Oh, I have to click on the video in order to read them. But I added a couple more. Air tubes. Oops, I meant to turn the volume down. So, but I'm basically finished. I was just saying also, if there was a face-to-face feedback, bantering, debating, I would also remember some of the things that I didn't even go over. I mean, because I could go over tons and thousands of things that I'm like, ooh, ah, wow, that I don't mention, that are little interesting questions, things that stand out to me or you that you might point out. And then so I went over Revelation 19 through 22 for a long time last night, wee hours of the morning, till 7 in the morning, actually. And then I went to bed. And I kind of got too brain mush, but so I don't know if I found anything else new, but all I know is I still keep finding things that I can cross-reference. And then if I had a not mush brain, I could maybe piece some more things together, but I wasn't able to do that. So, but I was just going to go over the parable, not the parable, but the, Mount of Olives things. Um, and yeah, this wife thing in the book of Revelation, wife, bridegroom, bride, okay? Wife is clearly Israel. It talks about Israel being God's wife. So that got a little twisty for me. And then plus that Luke 12:36, he says, waiting for your groom as if he's coming back from a wedding. What do you mean coming back from the wedding? What am I, chopped liver? What do you mean coming back? What wedding? Why are you coming back from the wedding for us? For us. Why do you say it like that? We're supposed to be in the wedding. In the wedding. Why are you saying when I come back from a wedding? So anyway, I don't understand that. I was pointing that out months ago, or a few weeks ago in a post. And why is he speaking to us? So, and I know we're grafted in. I know that, but still, it's, yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess that's all. I just wanted to point out that, yeah, they're the murderers. They're the ones doing genocide on Christians, which we're a Christian nation. And so is what most of Europe. All of Western free Europe is Christian. And they keep accusing the main character, Israel. The main character, Israel, the Jews, brought God and Christianity and Jesus to all the Western countries. So it's almost like they're slamming us and we don't even see them slamming us. They're going after the head. They're going after Israel, who brought Christianity to us, thinking, oh, these Christians, they don't see the connection there, that the Jews brought us Jesus and Christianity, and we're trying to assassinate Israel, and we're getting the Christians to go against them too. It's evil, and their countries are the ones genociding us and the Jews, the two godly people. It's weird, and we're just letting them do it. We've been letting them, and they're in our offices for some reason. They're illegal, in my opinion, because they're breaking the oath. They're swearing on a Quran. They don't believe in America. To me, they're, what do you call it? Null and void, like I said months ago in my video. That is null and void. Anything came out of their mouth, swearing in, is null and void. They know that means they're not in office. Technically and legally, they're just sitting up in there running the country, and they're not legally to be doing that because they didn't swear in to uphold America. So anyway, I guess that's all. If it speaks differently, I just feel like we should be saying this to the general public a lot. We should say, the only genociding countries are the Muslim countries. Israel has never genocided, and Christians have never genocided. And the only ones pointing the finger are the Muslim government officials infiltrated in our countries, who are null and void, illegitimate government officials, destroying our country, poisoning the minds over in the West as well. So, y'all, I think this is the end. It's just so grossly out of control. And yeah, hopefully Trump, if things start looking skittish around midterms, he can just declare war. But I even looked that up, and it said something like, well, the commander-in-chief, the president, they made a new law some years ago, something, that he can't just declare war on his own. He has to have the House and the Senate. So I don't know what that means. I think that's what they've been talking about lately with, there's more Republicans in the Senate, something like that. Or like when they redistricted, there's more Republicans. But as far as the Senate, the House, like if he loses midterms, then I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm not political. I don't know those terms, but that's what it said. So then I got a little scared. I'm like, well, then, so I mean, he's basically declared war. We're kind of at war all this time, but it's different from declaring war. And if the Democrats know this, then that means they won't allow him to declare war, even if bombs were falling on our head, probably. Who knows? Would they? And is it possible? Because if Trump has been going to war all this time against their will, which they're trying to rearrange that because they don't like that. I just hope there's a way he can declare war right at the last minute, which would be hard to. I mean, you don't have to calculate it; just declare it, and then the war would take a long time. They all do. So once he declares war, you can't. He has to whatever win the midterms. It's like an automatic win, you know. So maybe there's some loophole he can get around and declare war with all the evil, illegal loopholes the Dems do, you know? Okay, well, sorry if this is a useless, redundant video and I just had some epiphany that everybody else has had all this time. But I don't know how to put it into words. I put it into some words in my post, but it's sick. Okay, well, bye. God bless you guys. I'm praying for you all, you laborers and disciples, teachers, preachers, shepherds, you know. I don't know who of us Christians would be in the trib, but there's plenty, it sounds like, in Revelation, because it was saying something like, you can't even number them or something like that. I'm like, what? There's no way it's post-trib. I'll never believe in post-trib until it happens. I'm always going to be a pre-trib. I'll never believe that all of us Christians have to suffer through all 7 years. When I was in the world sinning, I knew about the rapture and everything. I knew I could be left behind if Jesus came and I was sinning. I remember this one bumper sticker I saw once. It said, Jesus is coming. Look busy. I know it's kind of terrible, but it was kind of funny. And it was on some college UTA students' Jeep bumper. But anyway, it said, Jesus is coming. Look busy. I think his mother was an organist in the church. But anyway, I always knew that while I was living in the world, and I was saved though, but I fell away. I always knew that if Jesus came in the rapture, I'd get left behind because I was being a bad Christian, right? I was prodigal. Well, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Well, I should probably go anyway, but so I was talking about the trib and that, you know, I believed in they've been teaching pre-tribulation rapture since the beginning of the Bible, okay? I already shared you that Ben Kuros video. He proves it. It's been taught, okay? Not only that, in the Sermon on the Matthew 24, after he says everything scary, which is all trib, I think, he starts going into all the parables to describe and compare what it's like. And in every single one of those, it is a pre-trib rapture. I just don't know how to fit that in yet with all the Revelation talk. But like I've said before, I think all the Revelation talk is just solely tribulation. There's no rapture in it, probably. Who knows? Maybe that one spot. But, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. I just don't see how this many Christians can be left behind unless, they're living for the world full blown. Like I said, I knew I was always taught the pre-tribulation rapture. So, I knew that if I am turning my back on God, being a prodigal, and I'm caught while Jesus comes. I knew it. Oh, I was saying that, people are going to be dying before they're beheaded and everything. And I always had a plan. I was thinking if I'm left behind when Jesus comes, I'm just going to run out in the middle of the street and get hit by a car or, suicide by cop, whatever that's called. And, or go into McDonald's, like this with my hand, like it's so, and I don't know, they'll call the cops and isn't that suicide by cop? So I was always trying to have a plan if I got left behind. But there will be plenty of people that die naturally or by disease or by accidents or by stingers or whatever, because there's 3.5 years of that. And then after that, isn't the other 3.5 years, that's when you start being beheaded. Before then, it's probably just a bunch of assassinations. So you might want to get ahead of the game in that if you're left behind. Just go, hey, I'm a Christian. Go ahead and shoot me, okay? Because I don't want to live through this mess. I want to go home. I don't know. All right, sorry. I don't mean to be a bad influence. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Okay? All right. I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking these things when we were being bad Christians living in the world and thinking we'd miss the rapture, okay? All right, bye.